Cool. All right, thank you everyone for coming to this webinar on the 8th of June. And we've got Milestone, one of the tier 1 video management systems on the market. And today we're lucky to have Mike Metcalfe and Brett from Milestone. Mike is the current manager at APAC and key account manager at Milestone. He's been with them for about 7 years. I've known Mike for a while now, so I'm pretty lucky to know Mike. And Mike's been working to deliver Milestone across to their partners across Australia. And Brett is currently the South Pacific country manager for Milestone Systems. And Brett's been with Milestone for about 3 years. And he's been in the industry pretty much as long as everyone else. So we're really lucky to have them tonight. Just some quick housekeeping. Everyone will be put on mute as we go through the presentation. In the bottom of your screen, you'll have a chat window. If you've got any questions, I'll get you to type it in. If we get a few questions on the same issue, I might jump in and stop Mike talking. Otherwise, we'll try and grab those questions at the end and put them together, because quite often we get a couple of the same questions and they can all be wrapped up. Other than that, I'll hand over to you guys. So thanks very much for everyone's time, and hand over to you, Mike.
Thanks, Bo. Really appreciate, sorry to jump in there, Mike, but Bo, appreciate you inviting us to this, and appreciate everyone joining, and looking forward to the questions and comments on the chat, or afterwards, after the session, or even after that, reaching out to us and covering any of those questions and comments. So yeah, really looking forward to it.
Yep, echo the same. So really appreciate the ACT chapter welcoming us here tonight, and looking forward to debunking a couple of myths around Milestone and our XProtect platform, and answering some of those open-ended questions that we tend to find out in the market. So as Bo alluded to, Brett and I really welcome questions. So please, as you have those burning, put them in the chat, and we look forward to receiving those and addressing those. So Brett, you want to kick us off?
Yeah, let's go. So as you can see, we were founded in Denmark. That's our mothership, in Copenhagen in 1998. The important part of this slide, I think, is the over 10,400 devices and growing. And these include mainly camera partners. And that is a deep integration. It's not just an on-VIF connection, it is a deep integration, and that is constantly growing. We're across 150 countries, and also growing amount of resellers and integrators, as well as the increase in our installations worldwide. Our number of people growing is not only growing globally, but also growing locally in Australia. So as you can see from this slide, when I started 3 years ago, there was 6 in our team. As you can see, we're actually up to 19 with an open head count for 20. So we've grown rapidly over 3 years. The important part to note here is that we've got in-house support engineers on the right, as well as our pre-sales design engineers and our sales support and marketing team on the left. So we're going to go through, and you can see here that's illustrated. We're not going to showboat all of our customers that we have, but it's more to illustrate the amount of verticals that we cover. Sometimes it's alluded to that we only prominent in one vertical, namely retail, but we cover a wide variety of verticals, and we do that via a scalable solution, critical infrastructure, transportation, mining, and we cover that really well. So as I said, it's not to just showboat, it's just to show that we do cover their outcomes and their requirements across these range of verticals.
Yeah, absolutely. Just echoing what Brett's saying there, we've always been sort of pigeonholed as a non-enterprise type product. And this really just speaks to the volume of different verticals that we can fit. And we'll talk a bit more about the actual platform and how we implement scalability from simplistic, smaller type installations right the way through to full-blown federated multi-site global deployment type architectures. So looking ahead, and this was covered by our VP for Asia with ANS magazine, these are some of the key aspects we expect to see from VMSs in 2021 and beyond. So apps will become more critical in VMS deployments for awareness and incident response. Video solutions as a service, these need to be more simple to deploy, far more scalable and easy to operate as well. And then what we're going to be talking a lot about tonight, and John, don't worry, I know this looks like something similar you may have seen last week, but the true open platform architecture, you'll hear us talk a lot about that tonight. But what we see in the market today is they're asking for open for a myriad of different reasons, but ultimately what they want is flexibility and freedom of choice. And finally, recording data is essential, but how can businesses actually use these analytics for better operational efficiency and business intelligence? And Brett's going to be talking a bit about that in the coming slides as well. So let's talk about the term open platform. So Milestone, having coined this phrase way back when we started in 1998, today almost every VMS organization now uses this term and claim to be open because they have an on-viv driver and perhaps maybe a handful of integrations. What we see primarily from them today are more end-to-end approaches where you're being made to purchase or specify everything from their own developed cameras and hardware to their own access control systems and their own analytics that only work with their cameras on their VMSs, ultimately locking you and your partners into unified or proprietary systems. With our open platform, it allows you to build unique solutions versus these end-to-end ones, allowing best-of-breed solutions to harness the latest technology and innovations now and well into the future. So what we actually offer is a solution that is powerful, really affordable and scalable, providing ultimate freedom of choice on all components of the system, really enabling future-proof designed architectures and systems as well. We'll talk a bit more about this later on as well, but it's important to mention here that freedom of choice is only possible when the tools and building blocks to achieve this are also easily and freely accessible. Our unique differentiator really is our freely available APIs and SDKs, truly encouraging a far more flexible deployments and future-proof culture within the organization here at Milestone, but also our technology partners that choose to closely partner with us, and our system integrator partners and end customers alike that choose to work with us. What we have as well are dedicated programs, certifications, verifications, and technology partner management teams that really nurture these new developments with our technology partners as well. So Milestone Systems is the company, and quite often our product is referred to as Milestone. I want Milestone. But as you'll see in coming slides, we actually have different versions. So the product is actually called XProtect, and this is that platform and through this platform approach that Milestone is a business that can truly stand behind the term open platform. But maybe this video will help you understand that just a bit more.
Creating a video surveillance system today can sometimes be a puzzle. Luckily, with Milestone XProtect video management software, it's easy, because it brings all pieces together in a perfect combination, so you can create a solution that keeps people, premises, and property safe today and tomorrow. Airports, casinos, and other 24-hour operations depend on constant, reliable surveillance, all day, every day. With more than 20 years on the market, XProtect has proven to be the right answer for more than 500,000 installations worldwide, from flower shops to universities, stadiums, and cities. You should be able to build a system that suits your needs. With our open platform approach, you get access to a community of thousands of integrated applications, services, and more than 8,500 hardware devices that add extra value and capabilities to your system. Let's be realistic. Sometimes bad things happen, and when they do, you need to react. XProtect is designed to be simple to learn and easy to use without compromising on advanced capabilities. And whether you are at home, at work, or on the go, XProtect is always there with 3 flexible viewing clients that put you in control anytime, anywhere. Starting with XProtect means starting right, with a future-proof VMS that can easily grow and expand over time as your needs change. It means starting with software that we upgrade and improve 3 times a year to make it better, safer, and more powerful. While you work to prevent, protect, and prove, we work to ensure you get a reliable, high-performing, and secure solution. Building a video solution today requires a solid foundation. It requires XProtect.
So that sort of sums up the picture that we were talking about with that open platform, really giving you the building blocks and scalability approach. One thing like other VMS platforms and VMS systems that you may be familiar with is the term licensing. And at Milestone, we really like to simplify things, so much so that quite often we're asked the question, particularly around specifying solutions and pricing up solutions, is that it? Is that all I need from Milestone? And the simple answer to that really is yes, it is that simple. So with XProtect, with Milestone, when you're specifying a solution, it's a purchase of a base server license, which defines the version of product or version of XProtect that your customer is purchasing based on the out-of-the-box feature set that XProtect offers. Thereafter, we license every IP-connected device that has a MAC address. Our viewing clients are free. Our failover licenses are there are no failover licenses, There's no SQL licenses. There's no connection for Active Directory licenses. There's no per site device license. There's no viewing client license past a certain figure. It's all included. It's as simple as base license of the product, device license, and away you go. There's no minimum buy-in or there's no minimum starting amount either with XProtect. You can start off with one connected device or you can start off with 50, 10, 100. There's no packs or anything like that. It's sold as single perpetual licenses. And that's it. I don't know, Brett, if there's anything that you want to add to that before we move over to the next slide.
No, I think you nailed it, Mike. It's and pretty much what we see from our partners, our distribution partners, our integration partners. It's really easy for them to put together a solution based on that basic license approach. So even to extend to a lot of access control integration, there's no added licenses with that integration into access control or other analytics.
That's right. So if we take a look at some of the versions of XProtect, just jumping over here, as we alluded to earlier, or as we spoke about earlier, we've got everything from that really entry-level, simple starting out, dipping their toes in the ocean or in the water rather, getting a feel of what XProtect is. We've got versions of product that fit all those different types of verticals and all those different types of requirements, everything from single site, simple deployments right up to scalable, federated, interconnected systems spanning multiple sites worldwide. I mean, Brett, you can talk to this as well, and I know that you might actually have an example here of a particular customer of ours that started off with XProtect, not as their first choice, actually.
Yeah, it's a great point. Swinburne University actually deployed Milestone as a stopgap while they were trialing another product, and it actually expanded from a basic deployment into the scale it is now. Why we like talking about Swinburne as a university, it can be looked upon as a small city because not only are they looking at surveillance and the security needs of their students, they're also managing the traffic flow through the universities, utilizing analytics for the better uses of buildings and applications into building management, into behavioral analytics. So it's a really good use case.
That's right. So we've got those solutions where you can start small and really scale up as you move into more enterprise style or large infrastructure type deployments and requirements as well. You may or may not have heard of the Milestone Husky IVO range that was launched probably around mid to end 2014 with our first iteration. Well, we've recently launched the new IVO series of NVRs. And what makes these really different is they are based on Dell infrastructure and Intel architecture on the inside. So we've really harnessed that power of partnership with global leaders in their fields in releasing our new generation Huskies to market. There's nothing proprietary about connecting these devices. There's nothing proprietary about being forced into taking these devices. It's merely a scalable option for businesses where they need something to be independent or not something that's accessible to IT organizations. There are some organizations that do like the VMS and the NVR and the whole one organization. And what's great about these new boxes, as I mentioned, is there's various different solutions, from tower solutions right through to your large SAN type racking solutions. All our units are included with 3-year next business day on-site warranties, out of the box, stock standard. And the great thing about this is you can actually leverage direct relationships with Dell and make use of these warranties and services, or you can generate that through Milestone technical support directly and action and have the advantage of those next business day on-site support and warranties with those hardware devices. Again, there's nothing locking the VMS to these systems. It's purely a Milestone branded box that you can run the software on. I think the advantage, however, is dealing with us as the organization for now both the hardware and software piece, which tends to be in some organizations the preferred. So we cater for that as well now. One thing to mention about Milestone, and it just keeps getting better with that no charge approach, is device packs. Because we support easily the most amount of connected devices bar anybody else, device packs for Milestone are released bi-monthly and they are free of charge. It's a matter of device vendors having developed their devices to be compatible with a version of XProtect. You merely download the latest device pack that new device has been built in, install that onto the existing XProtect system, and you're off and running. There's no requirement to have active SMAs or to even be a registered partner. It's simply as easy as going to our website and going and downloading that device pack and implementing the new features of that new device. And the same goes for hotfixes. Software being software can sometimes have minuscule bugs that may be frustrating, right? We don't lock customers, or we don't force customers into having to upgrade to the latest version, or we don't hold the bus and say you need to roll back to an old version or you need to wait for the next version. Hotfixes where they're identified to fix the problem that's being addressed are also easily available and accessible. And there's constant programs and developer forums that really ensure that customers and partners are well informed and up to date about those hot fixes and made available, including working with our technical support teams who are consistently releasing messages to markets about these hot fixes being available. Now, you're probably thinking to yourself, what about software upgrade plans, SUPs, SMAs, software maintenance agreements? Well, Milestone is no different to the other organizations in the sense that we also have something like that. We call it Care Plus. And this is a very, very busy slide, and I don't expect anybody to try and read this slide. And we're happy to share the slides after the fact for back reference if you want. But what this slide shows is the progression over time of the development of XProtect. And now this particularly references our flagship version in corporate, but it's the same across all our versions of XProtect. So when we talk about Care Plus, which can be equated to an SMA or an SUP, this really is the value that comes with our version and our offering of SMAs and SUPs, or what we call Care Plus, where we release 3 versions of product every single year through an agile development method. And you can see that change from 2014 to 2016 when we went from that waterfall approach to that agile development method. And you'll hear us say it a bit more later on, where Milestone actively listens and engages with our market and responds to the feedback from our market that really drives the development in the direction that XProtect heads in. So when we encourage customers to take, which is purely optional, our Care Plus add-on or services that gives access to latest versions of the product, this is why. It's that agile development method where you know that Milestone is going to continue to stay focused and keep up with the trends of the market because it's based on your feedback. It's giving us, it's telling us what you want, and that's what you get. Now, I mentioned a key word there, the word optional. And this is probably one of the major myths around Milestone that you may have heard, is that we force our customers into purchasing SMA or SUP. It's completely untrue, right? It is completely an optional add-on that customers can take. But at the same token, if a customer purchases our latest version, which is currently out, 2020 R3, they're happy with every feature that that version of product gives them, they can stay on that product until the end of time, right? Maintenance, like any system, is just hardware maintenance, ensuring everything is in check, patches, updates to your system, vulnerability improvements, ensuring that that's all in place. Milestone will not force you. Your system will not stop recording if you do not renew your care with us. It is completely an optional service. The other important thing that we should mention, and this is probably a key differentiator for us against anybody else, is that we do not back charge on renewals. So again, if I take a customer that's on 2020 R3 and 5 years down the track, the next version is out and they see some new features and some new improvements in the product that they really think would benefit their business, they want to opt in. We draw a line in the sand and we always look forward. We never look back. So we don't back charge for the years that the customer did not have care in place. It's merely, right, you want access to the latest version, let's renew for at least 12 months and let's move forward. You get access to that newest version of product, as well as everything that was developed in between. It's as simple as that. I don't know, Brett, if there's anything that you want to just further reiterate there or add on.
No, I was just going to add in another option, and once again, to your point about being optional, we also have an add-on to our Care Plus product called Care Premium. And as you could see from an initial slide about our global footprint, this provides the end user with 24/7 follow the sun direct support. So worst case scenario, if something does go wrong on a Sunday at 3 a.m, we do have a prioritized support mechanism to support that customer through that issue.
And we're talking purely about after hours stuff here, but having those feet on the ground here in country as well ensures that you talk to someone directly in country, should it be during business hours. And you know what, if we need to be on site, we can be on site because we have that presence as well. It's a really good point. So cybersecurity continues to be a focal point for Milestone, and with our 2020 R3 release, we really focused our research and development efforts into ensuring that XProtect is the safe choice every time. So FIPS is developed by NIST in the United States and the Communication Security Establishment, or CSE, out in Canada. And with FIPS 140-2, in a nutshell, what it is an information technology security accreditation program for validating that the cryptographic modules, that's a lot of large words for a Tuesday evening, my apologies, but to ensure that the cryptographic modules produced by private sector companies meet well-defined security standards. So following our system hardening guides, ensuring certifications and certificates, and really bedding down those communications between the relevant resources within an XProtect framework. We've focused heavily on ensuring that that is compliant with federal standards, particularly in the US and Canada. A lot of federal bureaus, governments, and now healthcare organizations are heading down that route, that if your system is not deemed FIPS compliant, you just cannot do business with those organizations. So with the United States driving a lot of revenue into our business and being one of the key markets for us, you can see the heavy R&D focus around that. And that actually influenced our release method. So you would have heard me say that we do 3 releases a year. The efforts that we flexibly imposed and focused onto putting FIPS in place means that this year there will only be, for the first time in 4 years, be 2 releases rather than 3. And no doubt we'll move back to that 3 release model from next year. But again, that talks to the flexibility and agility of our organization and being able to meet these demands and needs from large markets. Coupled with that, we also have our GDPR Compliance certification or seal from Europris, which is a European certified organization. And really what this means is through following the system hardening guides, which our pre-sales, local pre-sales and global pre-sales teams focus heavily on and ensure are implemented in all designs, organizations holding private information or public information rather would be deemed GDPR compliant. Brett, anything you want to add to those 2 points there?
Yeah, I think just to add on to that, while we don't have a GDPR requirement in our current region, it's important to note that we have an assurance here that we see the value in the privacy of our end users, as well as the responsible use of technology. And I think in some forthcoming slides that we'll go into that responsible use of technology as advances in facial recognition and analytics are proven. We've got that background in that assurance to ensure that technology is used responsibly.
Yeah, that's a good point. And I want everybody sort of to keep that responsible use of technology term in the back of their minds, and you'll see how we equate that to making the lives of the general public better places to live in around that responsible use of technology. And it's something that we've really started to talk about probably over the past 12 to 18 months. So, you know, we'll talk a bit about that more as well. So we also have some add-on or extension products, which really starts talking to that enhancement or that integration piece around connected systems. And the first of that, utilizing our SDK framework, is our XProtect Access Control plugin. Again, as I mentioned, that's developed using our SDK framework. And what this has opened up is the capability for independent access control organizations to ingest objects and items and alarms, events and triggers and instructions into XProtect, and made that user-friendly to operators. So it's this case of having the seamless one pane of glass to be able to work in, and give operators working on the video side, you know, for organizations that are more heavily focused on video applications, that capability to video authenticate users entering areas, restricted areas, high value areas, being able to manage that traffic, report on that traffic on either by door, by location, by time, or a combination of both, but also having the capability to manage that asset and manage that door. And in the event of a duress event, for example, XProtect is able to send instruction to disarm or arm entire areas or unlock entire areas. Again, so at that SDK level, having that integration that really talks to our flexible rules and events engine and opens up those possibilities. It's really important to mention here with this that Milestone is not an access control organization, nor do we want to be. What we have given here is a extremely open framework for access control organizations to integrate into. And it's opened up that possibility for organizations that may be extending their access control or standardizing on a particular access control systems where they may be running two. They're able to ingest those and run those side by side in a video application platform such as XProtect. And operators would be none the wiser in terms of which system those come from, but they would be able to run reports and manage those assets all in one interface. So now you have the best of access control technology out there ingested into a solid video platform in us. We also have LPR applications when used in conjunction with access control and facial recognition analytics for that point as well. You now have 2-3-factor authentication contactless access control type systems, and also vehicle management systems with an LPR extension. The differentiator for us is our LPR algorithm is an OCR algorithm. So it reads text. It's not particularly looking for a color of plate or type of plate for that matter. And what that means is this can be used not only for license plate recognition, but also container type recognition systems in critical infrastructure implementations. The other beauty about this is that you're not locked into using a certain type of camera. It's merely any camera that gives you a good image, and what we suggest has got good wide dynamic range and good low light capability, and the capability to manage direct sunlight as an example, to really give us a clear snapshot of that license plate for us to be able to read it. So you're not bound by $10,000, $15,000 cameras that are purpose-built just for LPR and sort of be hindered by using that camera only for that mechanism. You can really flexibly take any camera hanging in your system, repurpose it and reuse it for LPR. When it's done for that purpose, you can migrate it, upgrade it, move it on to another location, whatever you want to do. The choice is really yours. Again, working in enterprise type systems, we've got an out-of-the-box software-based smart video wall application, which we call XProtect Smart Wall, fully built into our advanced products in Expert and Corporate. giving operators that seamless capability and situational awareness, but also enabling information sharing across disaster recovery control rooms, for example, other locations that are sitting in that organization, and sharing information seamlessly and giving that overall capability and visibility of all their different sites. Being able to share information from maps, videos, texts, have automated pop-up screens, and really enhance the visuals for operators in control rooms. So they're not just staring at blank screens, but active screens. And the beauty about this, as I mentioned, is because it's software-based, fully integrated and developed through the SDK, from a Milestone perspective, there's no requirement for large back-end processing to really drive this system, right? So outside of just our product approach, and I guess our platform approach to how we partner with the market and how we bring solutions to market, we have also some more personable type differentiators in our very robust and extensive certification program. And this is extremely important to us because unlike other organizations, we've always stood by our truly dedicated and focused channel partner program. And we really hold that dear to our method of doing business and our go-to-market strategy. And with that comes certification, which enables organizations specifying our product and organizations purchasing the XProtect platform as well, to be able to identify the expertise in the market. One thing that we don't do is also lock out anybody that wants to partner with Milestone. We're open in not only the way that we deliver our products, but also the way that we engage in the way that we do business. So being able to identify skilled personnel and we drive that skilled personnel approach, having the capability when receiving offers coming from market, you can identify the expertise of that organization based on the Milestone certification that they have within their organization. And as part of that, we also deliver that in conjunction with our consultant partners and our A&E community, architects and engineers, delivering that to customers. So again, it goes back to that local presence slide that Brett spoke to, having those feet on the street, having the people in country. We really relish the opportunity to be able to work side by side, hand in hand with organizations from conception right the way through to delivery of the platform, right down to being able to offer the FAT and SAT testing support, where we go out post-installation alongside system integrators, alongside consulting firms, and ensure that the delivery of the XProtect platform is sound and done to the standards that we would expect and that we deliver and that we ask for as part of our certification program as well. Brett, anything that you want to add to that before we move into our marketplace approach?
No, I think only to add on, particularly around this services and training and support, that we also offer bespoke training to end users and consultant organizations that can be anything from operator training to on-site technical training. So it doesn't, not only do we offer the online instructor-led training or online at your own pace training, but we can do bespoke training to suit that customer's needs, particularly around how Milestone and the infrastructure that's deployed around Milestone is deployed.
100%. That's absolutely true, and we've done that up very, very recently, and we'll continue to do that as well. So again, it just talks to that point where we relish the opportunity to work very, very closely with our end customers and everybody in between in that channel as well. So in 2019, because Milestone, as you've gathered, we're the open platform, with that platform that lays that foundation for you to build and scale and have that freedom of choice of different technologies out there in the market that's really driving change. The question we always used to get asked was, what do I need from Milestone? What do I need from the partner? What do the licenses look like? What does that structure look like? And everything in between. How do I install it? Where do I find the installer files? Well, in 2019, we released something called the Milestone Marketplace. And I like to refer to the Milestone Marketplace as really the yellow pages of where you can go and find these different technologies across a range of different options that fit into XProtect. And again, I've got another one of our cool marketing videos that will really talk to what Marketplace is and give you a better idea.
The days of scrolling through search results of video management possibilities are over. Meet Marketplace, a digital platform that connects you with technology providers on a global scale. With the user-friendly interface, you'll be directed to trustworthy applications, hardware, and services proven to work with XProtect. Get in touch with technology providers and find out what you need to deploy your next solution. From user reviews to documentation to demos and free trials, it's all there on Marketplace. We're making it easier to sort through the possibilities within video management. Let us show you what the Milestone Open community has to offer. Explore Marketplace today.
Right, so as it clearly pointed out there, this, it's that one central location where you can find all the information that it is that you're looking for, everything from facial recognition to edge device capability and analytics at the edge, down to those core or cloud-based offerings from an AI and analytics perspective as well. And we've spoken about the MIP SDK, and this is how we do it. And really, just the main components or integration types that we have is a protocol type integration, a component integration, and the preferred plugin style integration, which really gives that hosted type option where it's fully inbuilt and ingested into the XProtect platform as a usable operation for operators using the XProtect client. So this is really the core of our VMS from an integration perspective, or the core of our platform rather, from an integration perspective. And as I spoke about very early when we started this evening, it's freely available and accessible to anybody from a developer perspective that wants to develop and integrate into the XProtect platform. All the tools, all the toolkits, the template samples are all accessible from our website. And that's really, really important for an organization that uses that term open platform in the true sense of the word. So we have some organizations here in Australia that love to use XProtect because they've had access to the SDK to be able to develop their own application at zero additional charge, merely their own internal resources and time to be able to deliver or answer a need rather that their operation had. So talking about metadata has always been a key driving force for us here at Milestone in our XProtect platform. And again, developers can integrate metadata streams as either streams sent into XProtect to the recording server or being received from the XProtect recording server. And this can be ingested from a range of devices and application where our recording server then actually stores the metadata in a specific database, no different to how we would store video data. And it's important to mention that each metadata source has its own database as well. So it's completely segregated. And that's quite an important point that, Brett, you've got a bit of information that you'll talk to on that as well.
Yeah, it's a great point. And I think the capability of stripping back metadata will lead us into another conversation. And that is, and I'm sure we've all heard it, and that appetite or the questions around cloud. And as we all can be aware, that the management and storage of video in cloud can be quite costly. However, if with this capability of stripping back the metadata and putting that metadata into the cloud for that analytic capability, demographic capability, can really give that end user that business intelligence and the capability of comparing business intelligence from 2 or 3 years prior, as opposed to storing 3 years of video in the cloud.
Yeah, absolutely. And it actually talks to where Milestone is. And the reason that I wanted to show this slide was because I wanted to talk about the direction of where Milestone is headed in terms of further enhancing our MIP SDK capability by adding the next generation of APIs, really opening availability and capability into web-based JSON and REST protocols within the XProtect platform. But more importantly, this will sit as a layer on top of our currently available APIs. So really just making it forward and backward compatible and it just really extending an already flexible and open approach of our APIs. So this is going to reduce the need for organizations to know the underlying XProtect system topology, and also make it easier to integrate Linux-based or Linux-based applications rather. It's also going to enable integration portability between on-premise and cloud solutions. So what you were talking about there, Brett. And it's going to be able to do this with the largest possible API consistency. And what this will ultimately lead to is be well suited for browser-based type applications, also provide a dynamic dialer and integration points, and enable even more flexible integration possibilities. So quite simply, the new REST MIP API will allow for easy integration, smoother experiences, and really a flatter learning curve for the thousands of developers using the tools. So we're really excited to that. And to Brett's point, being able to strip that metadata out and have that as usable business intelligence information really accessible and on hand. So being an open platform organization, what we implemented now probably 2 years ago, and if Jordan's still on the call, and Brett, you can also talk to this, is we wanted to bring this to market. We really wanted people to experience this. And that's why down in our Melbourne head office, we were hell-bent on putting together a really well-rounded, I like to say, integrated solution. So this is a view of our experience center down in our Port Melbourne head office. And you can tell that COVID still hit us in 2021 because no one's there. But what we do encourage is when you are able to travel and you do happen to be in Melbourne and you've got 45 minutes to an hour to spare, knock on our door, let us know you're there, come and have a coffee with us and come play around with some integrated products in there. And on the back end of this year, Brett, this will actually be a very, very different picture in terms of integrated pieces that are in there today.
Yeah, exactly. We'll have some updates of new technology partners, for example, Gallagher, Panasonic, just to name a couple. And to Mike's point, outside of COVID, this was being utilized 2 to 3 times a week, where we can set up a bespoke environment for the end user and their particular requirement for their outcomes, and the verticals that they operate in.
Yeah, because at Milestone, we really believe in showing the capabilities of integration. It's one thing talking about it, it's one thing having white papers, and a marketplace is great, sure, but being able to show that is extremely powerful. For people to experience that is extremely powerful. And these are some of the other experience centers that we have in our Singapore office, Dubai, as well as Johannesburg, and we also have experience centers in the US, in Sweden, and in England as well. So let's take a peek into the road ahead about Milestone. One thing we don't shy away from is where we headed as an organization. What does our roadmap actually look like? And it's becoming more of a common ask. What we will continue with our open platform approach, we'll definitely continue with our open platform approach, but not just as a VMS anymore, but as an IoT platform, creating opportunities in spaces where XProtect has not yet been seen or utilized. So with our open platform, or with our platform-ready product architecture, we're aiming for XProtect to become your solution for beyond security implementations. So bear in mind that Milestone follows, again, as I mentioned earlier, an agile development principle. So changes can be expected. Agility should be expected. Flexibility should be demanded. And as a global leader in open platform, we dedicate ourselves to the responsible use of technology. And Brett, maybe you just want to delve a little bit deeper into this. I know we touched on it earlier.
Yeah, it's something that we're really proud of. We, us and 150 other tech partners joined the Copenhagen letter, where we wanted to ensure the responsible use of technology and put people first, and have that focus as opposed to using the technology responsibly over the need to just enhance on profit. So it is something that we're very proud of, and yeah, we really stand behind it.
It's something, absolutely, it's something that's becoming sort of built into, it's becoming another core value, over and above the Royfi values that we live today. It's becoming really something that's very, very important to us. And like we spoke about when we started this evening, partnerships are what the Milestone business and our platform development have been built on. And this will continue to drive our future. And it's through true relationships and partner enablement, it's through these true relationships and partner enablements that will steer the direction to open, flexible, and scalable solution building. So what does the immediate future look like for us? Well, when it comes to open platform, our goal is clear. We want to continue empowering our community to innovate, develop, and integrate. And in 2021, we're going to focus on making this process even more seamless by expanding our supported devices list with over 11,000 devices, both camera, IoT, audio, you name it. It's going to be open and it's going to scale. So sitting at 10,400, we're going to get there. In the video excellence side and following our 2020 release of our new encryption methods around FIPS 140-2, one of the other key priorities this year is an all new authentication mechanism that's going to be built into XProtect. And XProtect's, our smart client user interface is the gateway to the vast functions and capabilities that our platform offers with our technology partners. So, out of the box, XProtect is a really sound, robust platform that offers a lot of features, and you really just further enhance it when you add these edge-based and core-based AI style and analytical type technologies bolted on into XProtect. So knowing how our customers work, their routines and preferences, these are all key to designing a seamless user experience across all of our viewing clients. So we're going to continue to invest a great deal of resources into researching and understanding, the true nature of the important work that our customers do using our XProtect platform. And finally, cloud and as a service solutions, I touched on this, and this is something that Benjamin spoke to ANS magazine. Cloud and as a service solutions have penetrated almost every aspect of our lives. If you look at it from inception, from architecture built into the cloud and archiving in the cloud. It also changed it in the way that we now design our VMS solutions and how those work with our core XProtect platform. So flexibility, scalability, and geographic distribution are just a few of the benefits, as we know, that cloud solutions offer. So we believe in the freedom to choose, as you would have picked up, choose, combine, and benefit from new technologies, and that a sustainable installation is based on a hybrid system, the way that we see it, the one that's designed that will really fit customers' needs exactly as they need it. So for us, Hercules is that right choice. And by combining the core code of XProtect with the open platform approach, Hercules really offers a truly open and flexible method of deploying simple to use software as a service solutions. This also includes the use of cloud and edge-based analytics in a subscription format, as well as edge or central cloud storage solutions. So when combined with XProtect as a central head end, you can have a truly hybrid approach here, combining both a cloud solution with a core on-prem solution in XProtect, and have the best of both worlds that those respective options bring. So our commitment to you really is, you who truly are Milestones developers in our direction. It's, as I mentioned, I reiterate this: Milestone listens to our market, and you really are the developers of the direction that Milestone is taking. We will never stop innovating, and we will continue to ensure that we add value with every release. Open defines who we are in our product development, and as a core value to Milestone in our daily ways in which we do business with you, our partners. We're also going to continue to ensure that Milestone is the safe choice now and into the future. So in closing, myself and Brett would like to leave you with this.
First, fire. The wheel, a compass, and a clock. Mechanics, electricity, Technicolor, and the space race. From telegraphs to telephones, cell phones and smartphones. From hardware and software. 56K, broadband and 5G, sensors and clouds. Technology has truly changed the way we live. It has changed our personal lives, our businesses, and our planet. For a company like ours, there are so many great things we can do, invent, develop, and sell. And only we have the power to define our future. But with great power comes great responsibility. For many years, XProtect has defined the VMS industry. We've protected people and property, prevented crimes, and ensured justice. We've seen patterns and we've provided insights. But what about the future? How does it look and where are we going? Should we head for the cloud? Embrace edge computing? Or go full on with artificial intelligence, apps, and analytics? Will we invent solutions to make our planet a better and safer place? One thing is sure, in order to be the best, we have to create flexible solutions for an ever-changing reality. And in a time where nearly anything is possible, our choices are more important than ever. The question is, are you ready for it? Milestone. Make the world see.
So we just want to thank you all for having us this evening and giving us your attention. And, you know, I'm really proud and honored to talk about the organization in the way that we do. And I'm really proud to say that what we stand for is something true. And we really stand behind that and believe in that, and as well as the solutions that we develop and bring to market. Brett?
Yeah, couldn't agree with more, Mike. And I'm also really excited with the A&E program that you're launching at the end of this week as well. And looking forward to sharing with you all. So we'll be sharing our contact details and any further questions, comments, happy to take that further.
Yes, please.
Okay, thanks guys. That was amazing. I have two questions. Back to the licensing section. Are there any costs for workstation licenses or video wall licensing?
Nope.
That's easy.
Yeah.
Do you want us to elaborate?
Yeah, no, I just feel that if I talk a bit more, I might start it up and just confuse people. But
No, that's really fine. That's fine.
You know, if you want 100 operators with access to the system to view, just download the application, install it, and give them the particular user rights in the application that they need to do their job.
Yeah, okay. And on the Husky IVO box, is that for a small system, corporate size, enterprise? Where would you see that deployed?
Either or. So it's if I were to jump back to that, it starts off with 150 desktop, the 350 desktop, which are tower units. Those can be smaller all-in-one type systems, and then we've got our rack mount units. And when combined together, you know, they can be used to run the relevant resources in a typical XProtect implementation. So you can actually, you're not forced just to have one. You can scale a whole lot and use a combination of the different range of products to build across thousands of cameras if you want.
But presumably, Mike, going back to your comment around the cost to store video in the cloud, the Husky solution would be for the smaller installation or smaller the medium. Would that be correct? Would that be a fair assertion?
It can be either or. Shane, that was you asking the question, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It really can be either or, and why I say that, and if you'll just let me jump out of here really quickly, and I'll jump back to that slide. The reason I say that is because you've got the entry level smaller type boxes that yes can be used for the smaller type implementations. But you could use these in conjunction with the 1800s, which can be used purely as a NAS storage attached to a 1000. So this can be your dedicated recording server, which could have 15 days archive on it. And then you could archive for longer term storage onto an 1800. So using those two solutions together can give you that really scalable option. So you could start at I think out of the box, the 350Ts and Rs can support up to 50 cameras. You know, depending on the recording parameters that you have in play. I know the testing that we did was on 1080p, 12 frames per second, really not industry standards. You know, so depending on your recording parameters, you could go into the 700 or the 1000 and really scale as many as you want. But if you want some parameters, Shane, around the testing that we did and how many devices those supported per box, we can do that.
Okay. And just going to back to that other slide about Arcules, the Arcules product, can you just tell us a little bit more about that? That's because that's a pure cloud-based solution, right? But you've got dedicated plugins into your hardware platform as well.
Yeah, so Arcules as a standalone organization, they're actually funded and owned by Canon. Go figure. So open cards, their architecture, their core code is XProtect in the back end. So you can almost look at them as an OEM, but what they've done is taken XProtect and deliver it as a cloud-based option. Now, because it is relatively, if not the same product, we've been able to marry the two in a hybrid approach. So you can have the XProtect on-premise VMS as you know it today, or platform as you know it today, and add on your different access control systems and analytics. And then you may have these really remote locations running on 4G type connections or 5G type connections. You want to do a bit of storage at the edge, or even utilize SD cards on cameras. Just connect it to an Arcules box. You can then connect that to a core head-end XProtect system. So you've used a cloud-based subscription type solution, coupled with a really robust platform in XProtect, having that hybrid approach. Or you could go all in just with an Arcules cloud-based system.
So Canon, sorry to interrupt, but it sounds like Canon have virtualized your tech, and they could that at certain times in the market be a competitor to Milestone proper, could they?
No, so Arcules is actually an independent organization. What Canon do, similar to us actually, we fall under the Canon group of companies. They just fund the Arcules initiative of taking XProtect to the cloud direction. So they're actually a spin-off. We used to have a Linux-based product in Milestone called ASIS. ASIS was really the birth of the organization Arcules, which moved in the direction of cloud as a completely separate organization. So I can see how you would think that they would be a competitor from a cloud offering of the same version of product, but really what we're starting to see is them as an extension. So they have their approach and they offer just a cloud offering if you wanted to go cloud, but then you can bolt it on to XProtect. So it almost becomes an enabler of a core XProtect system at think of a control central operation center. You could run an XProtect core system, that building can be connected, and then you can interconnect all these different Arcules systems dotted around.
Okay, interesting.
Happy to have a separate session with you on that, Shane, if you want to know a bit more, and we can go through in depth. I mean, we've just scratching the surface with what we've got here.
Mm-hmm. Sure. Okay. Thank you.
No problem. Great question.
Might open up if there's anyone else with any questions they want to throw at Mike, see if we can stump him.
Mike, quick one. Metadata-based servers. Say I wanted to ingest an obscene amount of metadata from a bunch of third-party devices, including cameras, but not only cameras. And I wanted to configure that box as some sort of metadata broker. So I could pump out data, obviously securely and upon request, to specific third-party analytics engines to return me a result. So can I do that?
There's a couple of ways that you could do it, and it's quite an open-ended conversation, John, but the short answer is yes. There's a number of ways that you could do that. So looking at the SDK, Milestone has always ingested metadata from these various devices. So let's say you used Milestone as your starting point. Ingesting all that information and all that metadata, the metadata is visible in the code. That metadata server or analytics processor that you might be talking about would merely need to connect to XProtect and be able to extrapolate out the required metadata information in that string of text and ingest it into your analytics server. Now we've opened up a technology called the Video Processing Server, or the VPS, and I'm happy to send you more info on that. But what the VPS enables is ingestion of said metadata, very, very similar to what you're talking about doing there, John. So in metadata that's ingested from devices into XProtect, this VPS server pulls that out, processes it in its algorithm, ingests it back into XProtect as visible metadata overlays in the smart client. So now you have information such as direction, speed, object identification, all those sorts of good things done in this video processing server. Obviously, something like that, because it's processing, it's crunching larger amounts of information very, very quickly, it's going to need processing power behind it. So think of it no different to any other analytics server offered from proprietary systems out there. You're on mute there, John.
The ones I'm having don't seem to be particularly scalable. They go to a degree and they kind of run out of puff. And then they basically tell me, well, you're just going to have to go to the cloud and do stuff. And it's not like I don't trust the cloud. I just don't trust the cloud and whoever's, you know. So we're really looking for an on-prem solution. And was struggling, but, you know, there's a few products out there, but none of them have delivered that perfect silver bullet. I'm so lazy, can I just buy one of these boxes? But the VPS sounds interesting because it will do the processing and the feedback into it. And I'm presuming you're using REST, JSON, and a few of the other protocols to interface to the third-party analytics.
So that would be straight into our SDK. So how it would query the SDK and ingest that metadata. But VPS is actually directly from Milestone. And I've got something, what I might just flash up on screen for you, John, is something like that. So it talks about the VPS toolkit. And what I will do is send you some more information on this. But utilizing this service, and again, it's a freely available service, utilizing the GStreamer technology, takes that metadata out and builds that analytical processing server that you're talking about there. But another thing I wanted to find very, very quickly, there was, and I'll see if I can find it, not now. There is one on our marketplace. There was actually a technology partner that took this VPS service, built it into a small IO box, and basically what you do is you plug in any camera, could be not an AI camera, plugs into this. They've basically built the VPS service for a single device on this little box. Think of it as a PoE injector. It's almost the same size. So it sits next to where the camera is, you plug it into there. That's doing all the processing of your analytics in that little box, and then ingesting that straight back into the Milestone recording server as usable metadata information to operators on the other side. So we're talking about something that's scalable, and we're talking about something that's that may not necessarily need one massive server. You can do it per device in the same way that they've done.
Okay, I'll be keen to see some more on that. I think that'll be good.
Yeah, I'm gonna find it and flick that over to you, John.
Cool. That was my question.
No,
because I know you do video well, so you know whatever I'm asking on video, you're just going to say yes. Yeah, but you're quite right, and it does talk to some of the closing slides we had there, where we are going to be focusing on that metadata and how to make that readily available to organizations to actually use for business intelligence, because we've always been recording it, and up until very, very recently, we've only started making it readily available to users.
All right, if there's no other questions, no chance. Well, thanks very much, everyone. And thanks to Mike, and Mike for taking the time to join us and give us this presentation. Also, I want to say hello to Danielle. It's been a long time. Thank you, everyone, and look forward to the next event. If you keep your eye on our LinkedIn page, that'll be where it's up first. Otherwise, feel free to reach out and we'll let you know what's coming up.
Again, Bo, thank you very much to you and the ACT chapter for having us. It's been great.
Thank you.
Thanks everyone. Thanks, Mike.
Thanks, Bo.
Bye.
See ya.
Have a good evening.
Bye.
Ciao.
You too. Cheers.
Thanks, guys.